Hackers are exploiting a critical vulnerability in older HTTP file server or HFS versions to spread malware in crypto miners. How can users of older HFS versions protect their systems from these vulnerabilities? Brazil's Data Protection Authority has taken a bold stance by halting Meta's AI data processing, citing alarming privacy risks to its 102 million users and the potential exploitation of children. How will this ban impact Meta's global AI development and user privacy practices? A phishing attack targeted over 35,000 Ethereum users by exploiting the platform's mailing list, aiming to drain their crypto wallets through a fake collaboration with Lido DAO. What measures has Ethereum implemented to safeguard users and prevent future attacks following this mailing list breach? You're listening to the Daily Decrypt. Cybercriminals are targeting older versions of HTTP file server, or HFS, from Rigetto, exploiting CVE 2024-23692 to deploy malware and Monero mining software. The vulnerability allows for arbitrary command execution without authentication, and Rigetto warns that these older versions are very dangerous and should never be used. In fact, the vulnerability mentioned earlier was only disclosed in May of this year, and there's already a Metasploit module out for it. And what's fun about this is that it's so vulnerable that attackers are having to get creative to lock other attackers out, right? The attackers are actually exploiting the vulnerability and gaining access to these systems and then hardening them so that other attackers can't steal their resources. It's like they're doing a Try Hack Me challenge or a hackathon or something like that, where they playing king of the hill with these vulnerable systems. I personally don't have any use cases for HFS, but essentially it's a web browser where you can go and browse files and download them. And it's very simple. It kind of looks like FileZilla, but the intended use is for file share, which opens up the door for other opportunities, right? Like if they can get in and they can create admin users and they can see the files that are stored on this HFS server, they could maybe manipulate those files to include malware, and then anyone who's coming to that site can download those malicious files as well. If you're using one of these older versions, make sure you upgrade as soon as possible and check the links in the show notes below for additional indicators of compromise. Brazil's Data Protection Authority has halted Meta's processing of user data for AI training, citing inadequate legal grounds, lack of transparency, and risks to minors. So since Meta has gotten into the AI game, they've actually recently updated their terms and conditions to allow for public content from Facebook, Facebook Messenger, Instagram, and pretty much all of their platforms to be used in AI training. Well, this violates Brazil's General Personal Data Protection Law and risks serious harm to users' fundamental rights. Brazil is giving Meta 5 days to comply with their regulations, or they're going to face daily fines of approximately equivalent $8,000 per day. But Meta is fighting this because that's what they do. They're claiming that their policies align with the Brazilian privacy laws and claim that the ruling stifles innovation and AI benefits for the country of Brazil. Meta is also facing similar challenges in the European Union, requiring explicit user consent for AI data use. So I knew all about the European Union regulations and laws and data protection acts because they're pioneering this whole field, but I wasn't aware of Brazil, so that's pretty exciting that other countries are starting to spin up data privacy acts and protecting their citizens from these malicious corporations. And finally, it has just come to light that a threat actor has compromised the cryptocurrency Ethereum's mailing list provider. So whatever third party they use to mass blast out emails that you have signed up for and haven't yet hit that unsubscribe button. But this is pretty bad because it allowed for this threat actor to send emails to the entire mailing list of over 35,000 individuals from the official email address for Ethereum's mailing list, which is updates@blog.ethereum.org. So on June 23rd, an email came from that address and claimed a collaboration with Lido DAO offering a 6.8% APY on staked Ethereum. The recipients of this email were lured to a fake website where connecting their wallets would lead to a crypto drainer emptying their funds. So as I'd mentioned in previous episodes, Crypto attacks are super hot right now. There's a lot of money to be had, especially with the high value of cryptocurrency. So if you do own cryptocurrency or you're a trader or you invested in it, make sure you keep a tight eye on that and don't start linking your accounts to any third parties. Maybe even create a separate account with no money in it, split up your funds. At this point, it's taken on the same risks as like a debit card, right? You don't want to have all of your money in one debit card because if someone compromises that, they have all of your money, right? That's why you put your money in savings. This is a lesson I learned too late into adulthood. But the same principle applies here, except crypto is targeted way more than debit cards. And it's a relatively new thing, and they haven't had the time to establish the secure foundation that maybe banks have. Ethereum's internal security team has swiftly investigated the breach and identified the attacker to prevent any further damage. They blocked the attacker from sending more emails and have issued an official warning to the community over Twitter. They've also submitted the malicious link to block lists, resulting in it being blocked by most Web3 wallet providers and Cloudflare. On-chain transaction analysis confirmed that no recipients fell for the scam during the campaign, which is very surprising to me. Ethereum is taking additional security measures and migrating some email services to other providers to prevent similar incidents in the future. So Ethereum is doing what I just suggested, which is kind of breaking it up, right? Segmenting it out. But the key takeaway from this is that major companies use third parties to send out their emails, and whether or not the company itself is extra secure, those third parties always pose an additional risk. So even if something is coming from the name at the.com that you're expecting, still you must be a little skeptical of it. Don't go clicking links.
This has been the Daily Decrypt. If you found your key to unlocking the digital domain, show your support with a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It truly helps us stand at the frontier of cyber news. Don't forget to connect on Instagram or catch our episodes on YouTube. Until next time, keep your data safe and your curiosity alive.